All right, so moving on to the next segment, we're going to pivot over here to the world of college basketball, and I'll be sharing my contenders and sleepers heading into March Madness. So we're at the end of February. We're only a few weeks away from one of the most exciting sports tournaments in the world of sports today, March Madness, college hoops, where you have the most exciting 3-week tournament in the country, men's or women's basketball. So today, I'll be sharing 2 contenders and 2 sleeper teams heading into March Madness. Now, contender number 1 is Duke. I honestly think Duke can win it all this year in March Madness. I mean, they're currently the number 1 ranked team in the country for a reason. And Duke, they're led by Cam Boozer, one of the most physical, one of the most dominant NBA prospects heading into the 2026 NBA draft class. I mean, Cam Boozer has been dominant for Duke, averaging 22 points per game, 10 rebounds, shooting 58% from the field. He has been a dynamic force for Duke, and this team plays great team basketball. Good ball movement, quick ball movement, mind you. They're great defensively, and they score a lot of points on transitional mistakes that the opposing team will make. And they got some big wins under their belt this year. Ranked wins matters, because if you can show that you could beat one of these tier teams and in the duration of the regular season, that only gives you more confidence, and that can help you gain momentum on your quest to March Madness. They defeated teams like Kansas, the reigning defending champions Florida Gators, Louisville, and they just knocked off Michigan, who was the number 1 ranked team in the country at the time, and the Capitol Showdown in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol Arena. So this team is firing on all cylinders. I really do think that Duke has all the ingredients to win it all this year in March Madness. Now, next team on the list as a contender, I would have to go with Michigan. Now, Michigan was going to be my number 1 team, but I was banking on to see who would win that Saturday game between Michigan and Duke to put them as the true number 1 contender. But Michigan is still a solid team, guys. They've only lost 2 games this year. The 3rd best team in the country. Really good 3-point shooting team. Really good basketball team. Physical team. Grabbing a lot of rebounds. You need to grab rebounds as you get closer to March Madness, so you can outbox and out-rebound teams. That's very pivotal, and they're good on both ends of the court. Another key ingredient to success for March Madness, and you need to be good on offense and defense. You cannot be one-dimensional. You cannot be good defensively but cannot score points. You cannot be good offensively but can't stop your opponent from scoring points. So Michigan, they got the recipe to win it all in March Madness, and they got a supersized front court. They're one of the best teams defensively in the country. This team is a fast-paced offense, fast tempo with the ball in their hands. They score over 90 points per game in a 40-minute ball game. Of course, 20 minutes in the first half, 20 minutes in the second half. That's a lot of points for a college basketball game. And they're 6-1 against ranked opponents this year. The only ranked opponent they've lost to was Duke. But they're 6-1 against ranked opponents, so you're showing that you can hang with top-tier competition, and that's not going to be an alarming factor if Michigan goes far in March Madness. So they're one of my contenders. Now, again, 2 sleeper teams here. Sleeper team number 1 is going to be the Florida Gators. Now, I really do think that the Florida Gators are being slept on heading into March Madness. And I'm a Florida Gators fan, and I think as the reigning defending national champions, they can make some more magic happen this year in March Madness. I don't know if we're going to win it all, but we could go on a deep run again in March. And this team is red hot. They won their last 12 out of 13 ball games. There's sports bettors out there. If you're a sports bettor, the Florida Gators are actually favored for their remaining games, and they're favored to win the SEC tournament before we even get to the dance for March Madness. So the Florida Gators are red hot. And this team does have experience. Like, they're led by one of the best coaches in the country, Todd Golden. And they still have veteran players that were a part of the national championship run last year in Alex Connon and Thomas Hughes. The only thing that's missing for the Florida Gators to possibly repeat is that closer in the backcourt. And that was my guy, Walter Clayton. That was the perfect closer that we had in the backcourt last year. Unfortunately, no longer with the Florida Gators, a part of the NBA with the Memphis Grizzlies now. But I honestly think that the Florida Gators, as hot as they are, you want to get hot before you get to March Madness. They're gaining momentum. And I think if we win the SEC tournament, which we're favored to do, and I think we can do that, we could go as deep as the Elite Eight or the Final Four this year. I think the Florida Gators are slept on, and I think that is a true sleeper team heading into March Madness for college basketball. Now, the final sleeper team that I have will be Arkansas. Now, I think Arkansas in the SEC is truly a sleeper team to go possibly on a deep run for March Madness. Now, this is a team you got to look out for because they're currently the 20th best team in the country, and they got a guard that can score. Like, you need a number one scoring option, and they got one. Like, Darius Acuff is an elite, talented player at the guard position. Averages 22 points per game, shooting 50% from the field. And he's currently in the running for winning SEC Player of the Year right now. And I was watching the game last Wednesday between Arkansas and Alabama. This guy nearly dropped 50 points in losing effort when they lost to Alabama in double overtime, which I do believe that was the best game of college basketball this year. But, like, this team is really good. And John Calipari, we know he has success winning it all in March Madness, had all the success in the world with the Kentucky Wildcats back in the day. This is his second year with the program, and last year he at least got Arkansas to the Sweet 16 last year in college basketball and March Madness. So can you imagine what he could do another year under his belt? He has really turned around this program in the SEC. I think this is a team a lot of teams are not going to want to see when we get to March Madness. But those are my two contenders and my two sleeper teams heading into March Madness. We're just a few weeks away from one of the best tournaments in the world of sports.